Hey everyone, and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. I'm Justin, and I'm just trying to buy a CD.
I'm Nico, and I'm Vanta Blue. Fucking at me, Anish Kapoor.
I'm Dan, the backup singer.
And we are here today to discuss Perfect Blue. This was directed by Satoshi Kon, starring Junko Iwao as Mima Kirigoe, Rika Matsumoto as Rumi, and Masaki Okura as Me-Mania. Now, these are the Japanese voice actors, and that's what we listened to the movie in. Real quick, before we get started with the plot synopsis, as we do sometimes here on the podcast, we're going to throw out a quick trigger warning. This movie does have some pretty graphic depictions of sexual assault and rape, so if that's not for you, you can go ahead and close out now. So we open with Mima Kirigoe, a member of CHAM, an idol group. But it turns out, though, that the group's upcoming performance will actually be their last with Mima, as she is quitting the group to become an actress. As she leaves the music scene, though, she's kind of on her way out, she learns of a website called Mima's Room, where someone is writing as if they were Mima, detailing intimate parts of her life, like literally what kind of milk she gets, etc., etc. Surprisingly, she's not super fazed by this at first. At least not as much as I might be.
Kind of actually entertained by it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she thinks it's kind of cute.
I'm just no. But anyhow, Mima's first acting job is as part of kind of this mystery drama series called Double Bind. Now, in an attempt to get more screen time for her character, as well as make a decided break from her idol image, Mima agrees to do a controversial rape scene. This, combined with her lingering regret at leaving the idol scene, as well as her growing paranoia over Mima's Room, causes her to break from reality, where she envisions another Mima dressed as a pop idol who starts to berate her for some of the decisions that she makes, which, range from becoming an actress to taking part in a kind of a gravure photo shoot. So, Nico, what happens after that?
So, life gets real fucking hard for you, girl. Mima continues to deal with her hallucinations and her role on set as someone having hallucinations, as well as her difficulties in real life as someone who is having hallucinations. They begin to understandably exact a pretty deep toll on her. Me-Mania, a stalker obsessed with Mima, obsessively browses Mima's room, and he begins to believe that he must rescue her. He's clearly insane. Meanwhile, members of the production crew of Double Blind are killed off one by one. I think almost in their order of relation to her, in a way, which is also kind of terrifying to think about. And Mima begins to think that she herself might be the killer. Things escalate then, because the person behind Mima's Room asks Me-Mania to get rid of Mima, because she is the, quote, imposter. You can hear the air quotes I just made.
Yep.
Double Blind then wraps up, also in air quotes, and Mima is getting ready to go to the after party until she is attacked by Me-Mania. She does a good old bonk on his head with a hammer and escapes. But when she reunites with Rumi, Me-Mania is gone. Rumi then takes Mima back to her room, but Mima is in for yet another rude awakening.
All right. Well, Dan, I'm holding out for a happy ending here, so why don't you go ahead and wrap this up?
We might kind of get one this time. Maybe.
Okay.
So, Mima wakes up in a room that is very similar to her own, but in reality it actually belongs to Rumi, who is very mentally disturbed. Turns out that Rumi believes she is the real-life Mima, possibly because back in her own past, Rumi's past, she used to be a pop star herself, and she wants to kill Mima. Rumi chases Mima around town until the two succumb to their injuries and other people intervene. So now we have a little bit of time skip, and Mima is now a successful actress visiting Rumi in a mental hospital. Speaking with the doctor, Mima says that she would not have become the person she is today without Rumi. As she leaves, Mima overhears some nurses say that there's no way the real Mima would ever be in a place like that, and she must be a lookalike. The movie ends with Mima smiling in her car rearview mirror and exclaiming that she is the real thing. The end.
Wow. Well, color me brown, but I am shocked that this actually had somewhat of a happy ending here. So I want to know, right? Let's just go ahead and we'll take this off the jump. How does this look? Dan, we're going to start with you today. I mean, this is, an anime, came out in the late 90s. I think it came out in like 97, 98. Does it look that way to you?
I think it does. It's got a different kind of 80s, 90s anime style. Like there's, to me, like two types of styles in that. There's the one that is like the Vampire Hunter D type artwork.
Right.
Super stylized kind of.
Yeah. Then there's this one where sometimes the people's faces look a little funky. Sometimes they don't. They're like a little malformed isn't quite the right word, but sometimes I feel like they're like facial features are just like blobs almost. And in fact, there's like several scenes where like the people in the audience just don't have any facial features at all. And they're just blank faces. It's got that sort of like character and that kind of vibe to it, but I kind of liked it.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to agree. I almost kind of feel like at times the more fucked up someone's face is, the more fucked up they are as a person. Because Me-Mania is like, this guy looks like a fucking wreck, yo. His teeth are all fucked up. He doesn't even look like a person. Like he looks like half human, half like shark or reptile or something like that.
He's like a combination of a xenomorph and Stoop Kid from Hey Arnold.
Kinda, yeah. And also, like, literally, Nico texted a picture of a hammerhead shark to the group chat. And I was like, yo, it was funny because I literally had the movie up in front of me. And then I held up the picture of the hammerhead shark. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Fair is fair. My brother Nico's right about that. So, yeah, I mean, definitely some aesthetic liberties taken with the characters. But all in all, I think this anime, the look of it, is a pretty good representation of kind of the, turn of the millennium, if you will, kind of anime. After this, we started getting kind of the style and the drawing aesthetic as you would of like the early 2000s stuff. But this still falls firmly into the realm of like 90s anime and everything about it. And to be fair, I think a lot of the kind of more down-to-earth aesthetic works really well for this because you've kind of got a very, I don't want to say accurate, but you've got like a very normal setting at times. And then you have these mental delusions and breaks, which are awesome. I also would be remiss if I didn't give a quick shout out to like, there's so many things you see on, because this is not my first time watching this movie. I've seen it once or twice already, but just whenever I watch this again, I notice so many small details. Like, for example, before Rumi is shown to be like kind of the mastermind behind this whole deal, there's actually a shot of her when she's talking with Mima and her reflection is in the window, just like how Mima's hallucination would talk to her from the window.
Oh, wow.
Like it's right there. And I saw it, I was like, oh shit, that's like a dead giveaway right there multiple times.
I didn't catch that. That's cool.
Yeah, it happens like a couple times. And there's also a scene where at the end where Mima's being chased by Rumi. To Mima, she's being chased by the idol Mima. So the idol Mima's like gracefully jumping around and skipping around. But then in the mirrors, we can kind of see the actual Rumi like sweating and like pacing as she's chasing her down. So I thought those were really cool visual cues. And I've totally stolen from you, Nico, but is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, you haven't stolen from me at all. I actually do have something else to add. Kind of the fact there that you were saying how just everything looks kind of more of a muted aesthetic in terms of like the character designs and stuff. I think that goes and makes the environment of the film seem much more normal just because the only beautiful characters are the idols.
Yeah.
And that makes it more easy for us to like delineate these people from everyone else and actually like see and spend time getting to know Mima and stuff like that.
Nah, I completely agree. I also think that it's really cool how they do sometimes I don't know where else to put this. Someone will put it in kind of how it looks, but I really do appreciate kind of the way the movie is cut and how almost every scene is important because there are a lot of interactions and twists between the movie and real life. And sometimes the two get blurred.
The cuts in this movie are so fucking good. Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's perfection because if they'd done it sloppily, the movie would have been confusing and very hard to follow. But as it stands, I don't think that it is. I think it's actually pretty, not easy, but I think if you pay attention, you can pretty readily follow it. And I appreciate it for that.
I think it's as far as like easy to follow, I think it's the good kind of confusing at parts.
Yeah.
There's a section, maybe like a 15-minute chunk where she is on film set, but then she all of a sudden just wakes up in bed, and it's kind of like, okay, you're questioning whether that happened or that was a dream or whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
So like, I wouldn't say like that section is like easy to follow, but it's not supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to make you think, and it does a really, really good job of that without being too much, you know.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, in terms of the sounds, I mean, Dan, what's the sound like, particularly in terms of the voice acting? Did you like it?
I thought the voice acting sounded great, actually. Thought it all fit. I didn't think there was too much like over the top, like bad voice acting or anything. I don't know if there is an English dub, but if there is, this is probably in that era of don't watch the English dubs. So I'm glad I didn't. The soundtrack I thought was cool too. A lot of cool like sound effects and sort of like builds to help build tension and things like that. I thought sounded great.
Bro, there were fucking Sonic Adventure tunes in this. Some fucking like shredding ass 90s guitars. They're like Crush 40 sounding shit just out of nowhere, and I loved it.
So there is actually an English dub. Bonner has like an ultra remix version, HD times 10 cut that does include an English dub. I didn't listen to it, you know, sub over dub for life. But I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I agree with you, Dan. It probably does fall into that category. I remember voice acting from this era was shaky at times.
Yeah.
But I will say as well, Cham, I could understand people being kind of pissed up they broke up. That one song they sung was a bop, bro. The one Love Joint.
I don't know. That one maybe, but they had a song about, I would rather wear jeans than a suit.
Oh.
Like,
that was after Mima left, bro. That was
That's
after
true.
Mima left.
That's true.
She was the songwriter. That's what they didn't want to tell you, bro.
Apparently.
She was writing all the songs.
But was that the song that hit number 83 on the charts?
Bro, they were just predating country music. It's chill.
I don't know. But I agree with you, Dan. And I don't really think there's too much more on my end to talk about. I think the voice acting was good. I think it completely fit. And I think a lot of the sound effects and such were realistic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there was anything crazy. But Nico, your thoughts? You agree?
Nah, y'all covered it.
Pretty much. So, real quick, before we, I guess, dive too deep into the movie, there's one thing we got to discuss, and it's idol culture in Japan. And, you know, obviously this is me saying this kind of as a Westerner in regards to, you know, like idol culture in Japan. This is just stuff that I've like researched and learned and kind of heard of over the years. But it's a very, at times, shady industry. It's an industry that is, I would honestly describe it as misogynistic at times, where like,
isn't there also like a fuck ton of grooming?
yes. So that's the thing. So there is oftentimes like a shit ton of grooming in the industry. But not only that, it's one of those industries where essentially the virginal qualities of these girls is prized on like an unknown pedestal. I mean, to literally even like, they have it in their contracts that they cannot have boyfriends, some of them. Like, it literally gets to the point where like some of them, I mean, literally, like, to even hold hands with a member of the opposite sex in public would be a fucking scandal, and everybody would drop them. And it's like, to us, like, we can't really comprehend something like that on quite the same level, because where we might have something to like a lesser extent here in the States, I mean, I have friends in Japan who have talked to me about this before, and like people I've spoken to about this, where it's literally like, yo, this shit is fucking nuts with how this stuff is. And also, in the movie, they talked about there being like a shelf life on pop stars and idols and such. And that's a massive thing because these girls also have to be very young. Like, once you get to like a certain age, even an age we would consider to be young here in the States, they're kind of considered like used up or like, you know, past their prime or whatever else like that. And oftentimes, you know, the movie was realistic because acting is often like the next stop for idols. Like, you often get them who they transition into acting sometimes, or they kind of, like leave their idol group and they take on a more, I don't want to say serious, but they take on like a more adult kind of musical career. They pursue something else. There was this one chick I used to listen to who kind of fell into the same category. And I mean, she literally put out that pop idol music. Everybody loved her. Her sales were really high. She branched out, moved past it, did like a rock album, straight down the gutter. And that's just how it is. Like, so it's very difficult. It's very tough. And a lot of times these girls are in a very exploitive situation because like, oh, former pop idol is like one of the biggest, categories for like even career modeling like she did in the movie. Like that's really on demand. Just like the quality of like corruption of something that's like innocent and pure. So definitely a lot to unpack there. But I just wanted to bring that up real quick because it's something that I think really plays a massive role in the movie. But enough of hearing me talk here. Dan, I want to direct a question to you. This is something we chose to review for the horror podcast, although I've seen this movie kind of drift in and out of horror in terms of categorization. Do you think it's horror? And if it is, what makes it horror?
I do think it's horror, but it's also like a, thriller, psychological thriller kind of thing as well. I would consider it like equal parts that, but I do think it's horror because there's sort of a tension that plays and that builds up throughout literally the entire film. Like from pretty much the opening scene, I think, when she's performing her last show with Cham, you see the stalker, Me-Mania, and pretty much immediately you're like, oh, that dude's a stalker. And if you read anything about the synopsis,
He literally has her in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
The way that the sort of camera has in this one cut earlier on where I guess he got a security gig at their concert or something.
Yeah.
Because he was like mad fucking close. And he was just like looking at them being really fucking creepy. And just,
yeah.
This movie was so uncomfortable to watch at times.
Yes, there's definitely some disturbing and uncomfortable parts. But I think sort of that kind of puts you at unease and throughout the whole film. And it just kind of builds and builds. And then, there's a lot of people being killed and for a little murder mystery kind of thing going on a little bit too, maybe. I would say it's horror because of the tension that permeates the entire film.
Agreed. And I'm actually on board with you there. I think this is definitely has elements of like psychological thrillers and such, but I think this is also it just kind of steps into the category of mindfuck.
Oh, it's absolutely mindfuck. Are you kidding?
Like it steps in and then there's the added element of horror because
bro, could you imagine? Then the Oscar for the best mindfuck of 2023 goes to...
I feel like it's an unofficial category. People look up that shit all the time. Like, what movies are good mindfucks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's absolutely like top 10s from like What Culture and Watch Mojo on like top 10 mindfuck movies. Like, I guarantee that's a thing.
Hey, listen, What Culture needs to shout us out, bro. There are a couple Sunderland supporters on that group as well. I see y'all. But no, so it's one of those things where I think it just all culminates in like a pot, like the soup's on the stove, so to speak. And I personally love it. Like, it's totally my jam. Like, this is my shit. Like, horror, mystery, gaslighting. Like, it's all my shit. So I definitely fuck with it. But Nico, I want to hear your talk too. Horror? Yeah?
Yeah, it is absolutely horror and much akin to the way that I kind of think about how Midsummer is. You weren't expecting that comparison, were you? Kind of a journey singular to Danny's evolution. This is a journey singular to Mima, and you'll notice earlier in the podcast, the cast that we read was fucking short. That's because there's really only like a few people to pay attention to, and most of the time you are with Mima, and you grow to, be fond of her. You know her little, like, quirks and stuff. She gets so much characterization without there being just, like, needless fluff. And that intimacy makes it scarier.
Agreed.
When things happen to her.
I definitely agree. Well, Nico, you're already kind of talking, so I want you to continue here. So Mima pretty much breaks at a certain point and she starts to experience these full-blown hallucinations. She can't determine what's real and what's not. And kind of one of the scenes Dan was talking about, she's acting in the role and they're like, oh, like, who are you? And to Mima, she's saying like, oh, I'm Mima so-and-so. But in actuality, she was talking as her character in the drama she's playing. But so many of these scenes cross over, you know, even like when they're talking about a killer and Mima's wondering if it's her or if it's the other Mima. And then they say, well, a hallucination or an illusion can't kill people. But what if the illusion found someone to possess? And that itself was kind of a red herring or like a clue almost, because in actuality, it wasn't that the illusion was possessing someone 100%, but more so somebody was, I guess, sending out that illusion.
Are you
if you will.
sure about that?
That someone was possessed? No one was possessed in this movie.
I am not sure about that.
You think Rumi was possessed?
I think that, like, maybe the spirit of the fake Mima, like, fucking poltergeist itself out into the world.
You think so?
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it could have happened that way. Like, so much of this movie is intentionally, like, obfuscating the narrative structure of everything and making it so much more surreal. Like, I don't know that this is a film that's meant to be, like, immediately, clearly lucid to people.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I guess, though, what...
Because like you said, you noticed a bunch of stuff on rewatches, too.
Yeah. So I guess, to you, why do you think she broke the way she did? Do you think it was... Like, what do you think? What's your take on it?
I think she broke because she couldn't distinguish herself she couldn't distinguish herself between the fake Mima. We got to come up with a name for her.
Mami.
Yuma.
Idol Mima?
Idol Mima, yeah, sure.
That's actually a pretty decent point, and it actually leans into what I think as well, because definitely part of what I see when I look at this is it's kind of like almost like the perfect storm, because you have the stress already of, you know, like leaving your job and putting yourself back out there. And I know a little bit about that, but like, it's one of those where, you know, she literally made the decision, hey, I have my idol group. Now, granted, I guess they weren't really that successful. Probably not. But regardless, I mean...
Can we pause there for a second, actually? How is it idol culture when they have like 50 people at their shows?
Yeah, right.
Like, they clearly weren't chart topping or anything, and they acknowledged that. But like, they had like a crowd of maybe 40.
They had the Power Rangers opening for them.
Yeah.
Which was pretty fucking dope, honestly.
They were bigger in the underground, bro. But no, I mean...
Oh, true.
But also, you got to think of it like this. Oftentimes when people actually, for those smaller acts, people get real possessive over smaller acts, bro. Like, they're like, nah, this is like mine. Like, this is my band or whatever else like that. So...
No, it's fucking true, dude. That's some shit I see with my students all the time. One of them told me, I fucking kid you not, about some absolutely buck wild fan fiction that was about One Direction that had some like mafia shit and like there were people with fake names and double identities, and it was like some real deep shit. So I absolutely believe that is a legit thing that happens.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, I guess there was, you know, like I said, the whole like break from the job, the stress of the new job, the website that's apparently charting your every move, which I totally would have been freaked out about from the start. And
it's Facebook.
Also,
y'all.
I just feel like the whole like rape scene, I think it was a rape scene for the drama, but I think it was more so than that for her, because that was essentially idol death. Like, that was a 0 to 100. There wasn't like, let's work up into this. It was like, oh, be in the drama. And then it was like, well, we know a way we can get you more into the drama. And nobody, like, no one person coerced her into doing it. In fact, her, you know, Rumi was like, you don't have to do this. Like, we'll get this changed. But this was that personal weight she put on herself to be like, no, these people got me this opportunity. I want to be an actress. Like, I will do this. Like, I will push through and I will do this. Now, thankfully, like, everybody on set for that scene with her was super professional. There's one part where the guy like apologizes. He's like, my bad for this, yo. So you can get a idea of professionalism in it. But I mean, you can tell that like her manager and, you know, her agent, like no one really liked that. And her agent was like, yo, I'm gonna take you out to dinner. I'm real sorry you had to do that. Like, it was one of those things where all that pressure just combined to overwhelm her. I mean, Dan, do you agree? You have any different takes on that? Just what caused her to really break like that?
I mean, I mostly agree with that. And then I will add that I think that Me-Mania also contributed to it as
Man
well.
kept showing up, bro.
Well, not just that, but he sent her, well, I assume it was him anyway, sent her a fax. Or maybe it was Rumi or whatever. But that...
Bro, do they have like caller ID for faxes? Is that a thing?
I don't know. But like... Right when she left Cham, she went home and got a fax that said just like traitor. It just kept saying like repeating traitor, traitor, traitor.
It was in some dope ass font though.
It was.
Like, that looked cool as
guy,
shit.
bro.
I'm not gonna lie.
Just make that like your album cover. But no, I mean,
hey man, that'd be a dope album cover.
it would. But you know what? Now that I think about it, fax numbers do print out at the bottom typically. But keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that she obviously didn't know who it was or anything, but I think that she could take that and think, oh, this is what the public thinks about me. And like, oh, I'm not making the right decision. People don't like me because of this, even though it was just one person or whatever, you know. I think that the view or the vision or whatever of public opinion changing.
No, that's factual. That's true as shit, bro. That's true as shit. And I guess as you're here, Dan, I want to talk a little bit about Rumi, the manager, and Me-Mania. They kind of have like a insidious partnership, so to speak. Now, there's some murders that take place. Now, from my point of view, I think Rumi kills Me-Mania because we see a shot of Me-Mania after he escapes and he's dead as well as Mima's agent.
Wait, doesn't he die when she hits him with the fucking hammer?
No.
He runs away and he's later shown to be dead. Like he gets his eyes like
stabbed in the
popped
eye.
out and shit.
I thought that was from the hammer.
No, she hits him with the hammer in the side of the head.
Yeah, but like he had his hair down. So I figured maybe...
No,
like,
he's like
would just
pretty
be-
clearly stabbed up in a later scene.
Okay.
And I was thinking Rumi killed him. I don't know who killed the agent. I don't know if like Me-Mania killed the agent and then Rumi killed him. But regardless, the agent gets murked, a letter bomb gets sent, and like one or two other people, the writer and I think the photographer who was taking the kind of naked pictures of Mima also gets killed. He gets stabbed in the dick. So who do we think is doing these killings? Do we think it's a combination of the two? Do you think it's mostly Rumi? What do you think, Dan?
I don't really know. I kind of think most of them were Me-Mania. And then maybe the one or two at the end. Of course, I don't think Me-Mania murderized himself.
True.
Rumi killed him. And I think Rumi also killed the agent guy, Mr. Tadako or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
I think she killed those two, but I kind of think that the rest of them might have been Me-Mania. The only other one I'm confused about is the person who dressed up as a pizza delivery. Because that didn't quite look like Me-Mania.
No, that looked like it was a woman, and I was thinking it was Rumi.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but did you notice what the pizza brand name was?
Big Body.
Big body, big
It
body.
was Big Body Pizza. And I was like, yo, I was like, that might be Rumi. That might be like a play on the fact that she's got a little bit of weight on her. I don't know. But that was definitely something. Now, Nico, I want to ask you a question, though. And it's not about Big Body Pizza.
Thank God.
So there's this kind of common trend in the people who die. Their eyes, they always get stabbed in their eyes. And I mean, the photographer got stabbed in his dick, but they get stabbed in their eyes mostly. And we even see that with the agent get stabbed in his eyes too. Is that because they're not meant to be seeing Mima in that way, and so they're being punished for seeing Mima that way? Or what do you think is the reason for that?
I think the reason for that is because getting stabbed in the eye is fucking scary.
I mean, that's fair. That is getting stabbed in the nuts.
like-
If you had to choose, get stabbed in the eye or get stabbed in the nuts, what are you getting stabbed in?
Nuts.
Yeah, probably. TBH.
Wait, what? You would take it to the nuts before you took it to the eye, bro?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah, fuck it, bro. I can
I
wear
would
an
like
eye
to
patch.
see, personally.
It's
I would like to
no
see,
patch for your nuts, bro. I'm sorry.
but I would like to be able to see.
Bro, you can get reconstructive surgery on your dick. You can't get reconstructive surgery on a fucking eye.
You can replace the eye.
With what?
Another eye.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it does.
No, it
Bro.
doesn't. Once you lose your eye, you're fucked.
Bro, you can totally get back a next eye.
No, dude.
Just
Like,
gotta grow that shit.
you don't see out of glass eyes. I don't know what my voice just did there. We're not going to talk about it.
We'll have to look this up on our medical podcast later, because I thought you could replace your eye, bro.
Bro.
I thought you could get one back.
Nah.
All right, we'll talk about this later. We'll talk about this one later, bro.
Well, I think I know why they got stabbed in the eyes, so I was thinking
Oh.
about it. I think they got stabbed in the eyes.
Because they didn't see eye to eye on how to act with
that's a
Yuma.
good
Shut the fuck up.
I was going to say that where they're going, they don't need eyes to see. So.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh, true.
True references. True references. Whew. Well, it's time for the what would you do? And can I just say real quick? Somehow we're laughing a lot on this podcast, despite this being a pretty dark fucking movie.
Very dark movie.
This movie is so dark.
This happens often. But I do want to say real quick shout outs to the self jab by the director, because there's a scene where two characters are talking about why are psychological thrillers from Japan always like this?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yo, I see you, bro. I see you, bro.
If you're not aware, this is the same director as Paprika, which you should also go see and is similar to this.
Now listen, man, R.I.P., but the man is a legend, yo. The man's a legend. So
Absolutely.
for the what would you do, we're gonna put ourselves. It's obviously different because we're all dudes, but I mean, we're gonna transmorgify here a little bit, and we're all Mima, right? We're all Mima. So at the beginning of the movie, we've decided to leave and we're gonna act now, and you find out about the website. On a scale from 1 to 10, how many alarm bells does that ring?
10.
10.
All of them. Every alarm bell.
Well, actually, I don't know if it would be 10 for me.
Think of it like modern day. Think on Twitter, right? Think on Twitter. Like,
I've had meme pages made about me.
but were they like Nico then bought his like Breyer's ice cream?
Oh, yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck that.
Nico
Hardcore.
always gets out of his car with his left foot first.
I know.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
He listened to a
Hardcore,
minute
fuck
and
that.
30 seconds of this song and then skipped. Like, bro. So I think they'll definitely set off alarms.
He listened to Smooth by Rob Thomas and Santana, like, a lot.
So here's another question, though. So we have that. And would you immediately start calling the cops at that point? Or like, what would you do? Because she didn't even know what the internet was until...
I would probably tell my manager, Rumi, or my agent guy.
Well,
I'd
she
be
did.
like,
Rumi was the one who showed her the site.
Yeah, but I would have been like, hey, is this normal? Like,
Yeah.
they know a lot about me, uncomfortable amounts about me.
Well, I would be like, yo, who the fuck would know enough about me
Yeah,
to know this?
Yeah.
I didn't write this, so
So there's that first part. Now, let's say people start dying. I mean, what's your take on that? Do you quit the drama? Like, what would you do?
That sounds like a bar from a rap verse. Can't quit the drama even though people keep dying all around me.
What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
A lot.
You need some... What the fuck? Dan, please give me a logical answer.
I would call the cops, bro. First of all, the first thing that happened on set was she got a fan letter.
Yeah.
And when her manager or somebody like opened it up, it exploded. And yeah, nobody called the cops. So red flag there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to avoid bad publicity and drama.
Yeah. And they were even told not to call the cops. So yeah, no thanks. I think it was Rumi, which I mean, and now that we know Rumi's the bad guy, I mean, it makes sense that she would cover this up or whatever. But she was like, oh, it was just a prank. What?
Dude, the guy literally, like,
Fuck
blood
no.
exploded out of his hands, and then he collapses. He's like, I'm fine. Collapses.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what? Wickedness, bro. That's all I could say. Now, I think to kind of wrap it up here. Now, if you were at the end, you become popular, you become famous, Would you visit Rumi in that mental hospital? Because I
Fuck
think
no.
there's a part of her that felt bad for her.
Oh, yeah, but I wouldn't.
Dan, your take? You leaving her high and dry?
I'd probably leave her high and dry. Also, she was like, oh, Rumi made me who I am today. Bitch, you're a famous actress, and Rumi did not want you to be an actress.
She wanted you to sing. That's
Yeah,
right.
you did everything she wanted you not to do.
That's fair. To be honest, like, I guess maybe Rumi, especially when she was an idol, had kind of like a motherly, almost kind of presence. You know, her mom is like, I guess, I almost said fucking teleworking, but no, she was like a distance away. So I think for a certain time, Rumi kind of filled that role. And I think they did have a close relationship when she was an idol. For those 2 years, she was an idol.
Probably. Yeah, and I think that's something that we don't actually see.
Yeah.
We see them spend a good deal of time together. Like, she goes over her house twice, at least, that we see.
Yeah, after murdering a bunch of people.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Well, facts, though, but serial killers hide that shit. It's never the ones you
True.
would expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think what caused Rumi to pop was Mima leaving the idol scene.
Mhm.
I think that's what really caused her to kind of like pop off and do whatever else. I think I'm stupid loyal. I would go visit her, just make sure she's okay.
I think it was the rape scene that did it for Rumi.
The website was already in existence before that.
Yeah, because she was just like, yeah, just try not to pay too much attention to that kind of stuff at first.
Yeah.
But then, like, ish.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that was a major factor. I think that's what caused her to go kill people.
Mhm.
That's why she killed the writer, because
Yeah.
the writer wrote it. Obviously.
Writers do be writing.
Yeah. But anyways, it's time for the critical take, shall we? So, what do y'all think this one is on Rotten Tomatoes? Where is this one at?
Quite high.
I'm going to say 93.
Damn it, that's what I was going to say.
I mean, Dan, you can say 93.
I'm going to say 93.
Well, you're both wrong. Critics
Damn
didn't
it.
like this one as much. It's at an 80 from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes.
Huh.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
Audience
but-
score is a little bit higher at 89.
Okay.
So where do we put this one? And if you could just give a quick synopsis of your thoughts and just where this one rates for you.
I like this one quite a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe like half or 2/3 of the way through the movie when we don't really know, sort of the mind fucky part, we don't really know what's going on. I've like, well, I didn't pause the movie, but I mentally took a step back and was like, yo, I'm really invested in this movie right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
into this. And I wasn't really expecting that. I was not expecting to not like it. I just didn't think I'd like it that much. So I really fucked with it. I liked mindfucky stuff. I liked just a lot of the themes that were kind of talked about as well, or written about. I'm going to give it what we thought was 93.
Yo, fuck you, Dan.
Yeah,
So
alright,
listen,
bet.
I'm going to give this one a 93
Oh, fuck you.
because I really like this one. And I thought it's masterful. I think that there are no real wasted scenes in this movie. Like, everything kind of has a purpose and a point to be there. I thought that it was kind of fucked up because, like, her former her former kind of bandmates, they were talking about how, you know, like, this photographer is one that takes, you know, like a certain kind of picture. And I maintain she was taking some classy photos, bro. It's a classy nude, okay? But
What did you
her,
call it?
you
A
know,
gravure?
gravure, Gravure. It's like a genre type thing. But
Okay.
like,
I would have just said boudoir, but I guess that's kind of a similar thing.
it's kind of one of those things where her idol mate was like, she's probably going like this. Yeah. And then just like, you know, like spread open her legs and, you know, made some pretty like obscene gestures. And it's like, so even they like didn't really have the super highest of opinions of her. And it's kind of awkward because they're still under the same agency. So they like walk
Yeah.
past each other all the time and stuff. But I don't know. I thought this one was really good. And also the runtime. Yo, can we talk about like, it's a concise runtime. Hour 20, hour 21. And it's like, I liked it. I liked it a
It
lot.
went by quick.
It did. Nico, what's your take on this one?
Man, there's so much that I could say about this movie and like still want to, and so much that I still don't know. As soon as I watched this and like finished it, I wanted to watch it again, but I didn't have the time for it. And I am just, I've seen one other work by this director, Satoshi Kon, and he's like a master at what he does. The kind of editing and scene construction that are in his films are nothing short of, like Justin said, masterful. I really fuck with this. I'm going to give this a 95.
Well, look at you being
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and put it on the table, shall we? This got a recommendation from everybody, obviously. I mean, it's in the 90s.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Golden Seal?
I would do it.
Hell yeah.
I do it too. Hang on. There you go. Golden stamp, golden seal of approval right there, y'all. So there you go. It's been a minute. Cabin in the Woods was the last one, I think.
Yeah.
So if you agree with us, or if you disagree with us, or want to let us know something about this movie, or something we've talked about, hit us up on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at DOTD Horror. We're also on Facebook. Don't open that door. Plus, don't forget, you can catch everything we've done on our website. That's dotdhorror.com. But till then, stay frosty, keep yourself safe, look after yourself, mentally and physically. And as always, dear listener, don't open that door. Bye.